CTV News at 6 with Joe Perkins.
Staying in Port Alberni, RCMP have expanded the search for Stephanie Nicole Ewing. Ewing has not been seen since Tuesday of this week, and she hasn't made contact with friends or family. Police are reaching out to property owners in the 6800 block of Beaver Creek Road to take a look for anything suspicious or unusual. Ewing is 30 years old. At this time, police do not suspect foul play in Ewing's disappearance. Anyone with information into this case is asked to contact Port Alberni RCMP. And an update now into last night's dramatic rollover accident near Nanoose Bay. Nanaimo RCMP say speed was a factor in a crash that resulted in a car flipping on the Island Highway just outside of the Arlington Inn around 6 o'clock last night. RCMP in Nanaimo say they received several calls from drivers reporting a man speeding up the highway. But by the time Nanaimo police could respond, the car was already into Oceanside RCMP jurisdiction. A man thought to be in his 60s or 70s had to be extracted from his car after it flipped, finally coming to a stop on its roof, meters from the highway. RCMP crash analysts spent hours on the scene. Nanaimo RCMP say they believe the driver is still in hospital, still suffering from severe injuries. The Transportation Safety Board of Canada is sending a team of investigators to Ucluelet to meet a Canadian fishing vessel involved in a collision with a U.S. boat off the coast of Washington state. The U.S. Coast Guard says 4 men were aboard the Maverick, a 12-meter fish boat that sank after colliding with another fishing vessel. That would be the 27-meter Viking Storm out of Ucluelet. 3 of the 4 crew members on the Maverick were rescued by the Viking Storm. The Transportation and Safety Board says it plans to gather information and then it will be assessing the occurrence. Well, it has been 1 week since the 2012 Cops for Cancer Tour de Rock riders began their trip down the length of Vancouver Island. Today, day number 7. We showed you the smiles last night as riders completed day 6, otherwise known as Hump Day. Today, things didn't get any easier. The riders left this morning from Port Alberni and made the 102-kilometer trek to Ucluelet and then on to Tofino. Now, if you've ever driven to Tofino, you know the road is windy and it's very up and down. Some say this makes for the hardest day. Tomorrow, the riders are headed to Nanaimo. Well, back in Saanich, more hair being shaved off in support of the Tour de Rock riders. Today's event at Saanich headquarters, police headquarters, was organized by the Saanich Reserve Constables. The goal is to raise $3,000 to help send kids to camp, and to do so, many of the Reserve Constables were shaving it off. Their goal is $3,000.
It's absolutely amazing. I mean, they're dedicated enough to give their own time to help us out for policing duties. Now they're arranging events for the Tour de Rock, and that's obviously something that's near and dear to a lot of the members' hearts within the organization. So the fact that they're stepping up and doing this on their own time is just fantastic.
A lot of the reserves here want to get hired, and a lot of us actually just are volunteering because we love it. And the Tour de Rock it's a community event, and that's one reason why we become reserves, is because we want to be part of our community. So.
Also on hand today, Saanich police mascot Ace. Now, if you haven't met Ace, it's probably because he's young. Ace has been the mascot for the Saanich Police Department for just 2 years, but the department says Ace's role in the community is being bumped up. But in order to do that, Saanich Police need mascot volunteers.
I think with Ace being an ambassador who's mostly going to connect with children, that's huge, because a lot of kids are brought up to maybe be scared of the police, or, you know, if you don't do this, the police will come and get you. And we really want to make sure we're building positive relationships with kids at an early age before, you know, something unfortunate happens later on. So we'd really like the ambassadorship and just let people know Saanich Police is here to help them and here to serve them. And Ace is a great way to do that.
Currently, the department uses summer students and reserve constables to fill the role of Ace. If you'd like a chance to be Ace, you can go to the Volunteer Victoria webpage. You can find that at www.volweb.ca. Well, switching gears for a moment, he is the most celebrated island athlete you may never have heard of. And tonight, he's a champion. Victoria native Mike Pike plays for the Sydney Swans in the Aussie Rules Football League. That's in Australia. Yesterday, the Swans were in the league final, and Mike Pike was a standout. The 6'4" former Canadian rugby star had 16 touches, 6 marks, and 29 hitouts. That's very good. He was also entrusted with being his team's key big man in the nail-biting last quarter. Aussie Rules football has some similarities to rugby with some kicking and passing differences. Pike is a champion, And we will have more on this victory for you Monday night with Myra Lawrence.